Framing, addressability. So what comes to mind? 64 million household footprint, about a $2 billion marketplace, right? I'm a third done. Self-evidently, okay, we're talking about audience-based buying. Self-evidently, we're talking about multi-screen. Self-evidently, we're talking about granular data. And my last bit, and this is really going to pay it off, is that we're now really truly through these instruments into the reality of being able to generate full funnel outcomes for advertisers. You come from a world, MVPDs, and the leadership there. Well, one of the things that I know is that you partner very well with each other and have been very athletic at that for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, recently you partnered and evolved one of your assets, and it's now called Ampersand. Is that a game changer?
Well, we've been partners with Ampersand, formerly NCC, for many, many years. You know, we're an owner of that at Spectrum Reach. No, you know what? I don't think it's a game changer, you know, with what we're doing there. You know what? As a matter of fact, if we're really all honest, we're catching up. You know, the game changer happened when some of our ad tech pals were able to target better than we could and get better data than we had made available. And that all happened a few years back. What I would say now is that we are fast and furiously trying to catch up to what's happened, and I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress. It's hard when you have 4 or 5 big MVPDs to get them on the same page. Certainly Ampersand is one of those organizations in the industry that has actually done that and done it successfully. But we're not changing the game. We're trying to catch up to the game. But I think we got a great opportunity as a group because we have the best data, I think by far the best data as MVPDs with, you know, it's all aggregated, it's all anonymized, it's privacy compliant, but it will tell you what you need to know as a marketer, how to find your audience, and then how to serve them the kind of ads that you want to serve them as an advertiser. And you can do it down to the household, you can do it down to the zone. So again, just back to your question, not a game changer. We're playing catch up, but we're starting to catch up pretty well now. And I'm proud of that.
When you're talking about catch up, when we're talking about Ampersand, was there a data play that was part of that sat there and said more than a name change? You know, that there's a fundamental capability that now is enhanced. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I can. I mean, that's, you know, I'm on the board of Ampersand.
Right.
I don't run Ampersand, but I will tell you that was the mission when we made some changes about 1.5 years ago in management, and we've sunk a lot of money and investment into Ampersand because we have a very strong belief that they can be a major player in the in media. Not just on the linear side, obviously they've got that covered, but we want to use our data. Again, it's owned by 3, this is not a secret, Cox, Comcast, and Spectrum Charter are the owners of it, and we have a unique ability to get into their hands some of the best data to activate it and allow their sellers they sell billions of dollars worth of advertising a year to take that data and to make it work for the advertising community. So I know Andrew's here, Andrew Ward, who's the president. So if you want to talk any more detail with him about that, I think it would be great because I think they're really someone that is not only reckoned with right now for political advertising and linear advertising, but the advanced space is what they're building for and what we're going to supply with just the best data in the business to help them.
You and I get to sit in rooms where the leaders of, well, the full ecosystem, the full premium video ecosystem get together, including the MVPDs and the networks.
Yes.
And we've been talking about the MVPDs partnering. What about, and I've been in the rooms when, you know, the networks would say to you, you talk about things that maybe you would do together in JVs and things like that, and they'd always ask the same question. They say, well, how about all that data you've got? Talk to me about the evolution of partnering with the networks.
Well, it's a great question. At the VAB, we have networks and we have the MVPDs together. We even have cinema advertising representation on the board. And you know what? We're speaking now as one voice. I think some of you guys have probably seen some of our ads for the VAB where we get John Foley from Peloton, and we've had the CEO of Wayfair.com talk about these are digital brands that grew up in digital. They're pure play digital companies, but these CEOs talk about how their business didn't really turn around and drive revenue straight up until they got on TV. And the only way to do that is for us, meaning the MVPDs and the cable networks, to really work together. My analogy was always you know, what if Mars attacked? Well, you know, that simply means if Mars attacked, we don't get along with Russia and North Korea, they don't like us, there's all these country conflicts. But you know what, if our asses were all on the line, we'd have to pull together, just like a good sci-fi movie, and make it through. Well, actually, Mars did attack in the form of Facebook and Google and Amazon. They attacked a few years back. So we're pulling together now to try and give scale to all this advanced advertising that, that the ad tech players have been able to do. And I don't mean to sound reactionary. I don't mean to sound like we're not proactive, but our mission in life as cable operators was not always advertising. It's the subscription revenue. But our companies, our parent companies, have seen that there is a lot of money in the infrastructure that we built that can be used to bring the networks together. And you'll see this coming soon because we announced our On Addressability a while back project where the NCC partners are going to get together and offer scale to networks. So AMC Networks, as an example, could bring BMW along and make their advertising, BMW's advertising, addressable on 35 million households for VOD and another 35 to 40 million households on linear. And I don't want to put my head in the sand and think, linear, where's it going? Well, we know it's certainly under pressure, but it certainly is where the vast majority of all the impressions are today. So you're going to see us work really closely with networks. Frankly, we need each other. Yeah, we battle it out. We're always sending hate letters to each other around renewal time for.
It's nothing personal.
No, it's not. It's just business. But our companies have recognized while we may go to battle with them on affiliation agreements, that we all need each other for scale in advertising. And that's why you've seen many years, Comcast, I think, broke the mold 10, 15 years ago when they started representing Verizon, our arch enemy. They were overbuilding all the cable companies. And you know what? But we recognized after a while we needed each other. Well, we know the same thing is occurring, and you'll see a lot more, I believe, a lot more cooperation between the networks, partnering with the MVPDs to make it better for advertisers.
Yeah, I like to think the Compass has been just that, what's best for advertisers. Now, you had mentioned some of the DTC players that we've gotten intimate with, and they have incredible analytics and incredible first-party skills. And now, we've got someone who, say, may be a long-time linear player. They maybe don't have as robust a data file. They've got a first-party data file, and it's a good data file on their basic customer information. They can do some smart targeting. They know a good amount, way past age, sex, demographic, that type of thing. If someone's just got basic data capability, can they plug in and ramp into what the capabilities are of MVP addressability and what Ampersand brings and really get the kind of results? Or do you need like rock star data to onboard and to get the results? Or can I walk in and, I may not be the most sophisticated data player. Can you help me? Can you help my sales?
So I want to make sure I understand the question.
I'm not sure I do, but I'm just going to.
No, I don't think you do. Kidding.
It's part of the magic.
No, what you're saying, Sean, is that can anybody use this data?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, of
That
course.
was way too short
Anybody
a
with a wallet can come and use our data. And we have the best data, by the way.
That's the T-shirt for the session.
No, in all sincerity, yes. Yeah. And we're doing it today. It's not something we're thinking about doing. We have a lot of clients that come in. We just make it so goddamn hard on them. You got to go to me, you got to go to Comcast, you got to, And what we're trying to do with Ampersand is give them one point of focus to go to and be able to buy a scale that exists. And by the way, even just with Ampersand, it's still bifurcated because our friends at AT&T. Anybody out here from AT&T? No. There.
In the house.
Yeah. So just earmuffs. No, I'm kidding. No, in all sincerity, they've got a platform too, but we're still going to reach a lot of people, and they're going to reach a lot of people, and they do it today, and they do it really well. But I think for an advertiser, you want the whole thing in one place. That could be a little challenging, but we'll make it better. We'll make it easier. We're going to take steps to make it easier for them. So I hope that was permissible.
Well,
all right, thanks.
It's going to allow for the Darwinism, in terms of advertisers, testing and trying.
Hey, look,
and being behind each of these platforms.
20 years ago, or maybe longer, the New York Interconnect split apart. The company I represent now, Time Warner, split apart. They wanted to do their own thing, and it made it was the first major market, New York, with not a big one-stop shop. And the only reason it survived, other than guts and grit, was that it was the number one market, and buyers had to buy it. So they had to take that second step. I'm not sure we're there with addressable. They may buy AT&T, they may buy us, buy it together. At some point, and I don't know when that point is, we've got to just stop being apart. I mean, when you go to Google, you go to Facebook, they don't, well, we can't do it here, we can't do it there. And, it's easy for buyers. It's just taking the friction out. We're taking a step towards taking the friction out, but I think we still have a ways to go.
When you take the friction out, including saying have an interface that is downloadable and that suddenly someone who isn't a television advertiser can now play with the toggles and start to fly the plane and try things, do you think that the advanced products are going to be a Trojan horse for a lot of new advertisers?
Well, it depends on what you think is advanced. I think what you said, we launched, and I know Comcast has their version of, an ad portal. So for the advertisers out, we probably have 30,000 advertisers a year at Spectrum Reach, but there's no reason we couldn't have 100,000. We've launched, a portal where small advertisers can go on, put their credit card in, pick their schedule, create their own commercial, and go. I think there's going to be more future for that. Is that advanced advertising? Yeah, they're still buying by, age and gender, but as time goes on, we'll add more and more to that repertoire. We have our partner at 605 built us one of the greatest tools that we've ever had, which is, we call it Audience App. Literally, let's our salespeople sit down, go into a car dealership, sit down in real time, let them pick what target audience they want, let them pick the zones or the whole market, and you can take individual zones, let them pick the attributes that they want. They can look at the networks and exclude networks if they don't want those networks, and push a button on their iPad, and literally in 7 seconds or less, it will sift through, could be hundreds of thousands, if not a million set-top boxes to optimize that schedule. That's one step for the local advertisers that I think is really a gateway to get them to start using more advanced look at data, because we've got proof. It's not just that we think it works better. We get, instead of only selling 5 networks, we sell 40, 50 networks deep. Instead of them getting 100,000 impressions, they may get 500,000 impressions in the target that they're looking for. Many more spots, because we don't really, at that level, we don't care about spots. We care about impressions. So I think we've talked a lot about the big national advertisers, but in the local zones where a lot of business is being done, I bet you between all of us, $4 billion in zone sales between the MVPDs. It's a great tool, and my hat is off to our friends at 605 who we partnered with to make that happen. But it requires making your set-top box data, again, anonymized and aggregated for any of the lawyers out there. It's all privacy compliant, but that's been a game changer for us. That's taken the conversation away from just give me ESPN and USA Network to 50 networks deep. And the dirty little secret in cable is, although it's probably not a secret to many people here, we got a ton of inventory, but 20% of it we probably monetize. So we got 80% maybe that is hard to monetize. Well, tools like I just said that take it away from Nielsen and take it into set-top box impressions, if you're buying by that, all of a sudden you start to change the game. That 80% that you were hard to monetize now is monetizable because they're not hash marks. So anyway, we talked a lot about national advertisers, and I think what some of the companies are doing here in terms of attribution, which I think is the next big wave. I think we've all proved that we can reach people. Now we got to try and help our advertisers see that their money's being well spent, although that shouldn't just be up to the seller of media. It's got to be a partnership. I think we're, from the local perspective to the national perspective, we're going to make the ecosystem work much better.
Last 20 seconds, and you'll get the last word. Simple question, yes or no.
Thank you.
Does a maturing addressability market affect the pricing structure, the valuation of a linear market? Does it rise the way that our clients, our marketers, look at the value of the entire product, the core product plus the advanced product? Does the entire thing rise in terms of valuation, yes or no?
Yes, it does. But what are you taking credit for it?
No. I just needed the yes, but I'm interested in what's after the but. We got a little time.
Well, let me say this. I think yes, it is now, but I don't know over time. Being able to finitely target to the household is a big deal now, especially on television. But over time, I don't know if that's still going to get the premium that it got. But I think we're in for a nice ride for those of us that can sell addressably. So it's a yes now. I don't know what were the CPMs on VOD, 10 years ago. Now they're more reality based. Probably they were the shiny new object, and they were more targeted for sure. But as they matured, their price could just think about any piece of consumer electronics you buy. When they first come out, they're expensive, and over time they come down. Now, the goal is getting enough volume on that while you're high priced to make the market sing, and then you can make more money on volume. So I think it's a yes now, and we'll see. You're welcome. Thank you.